Welcome into the Clear as Mud podcast with your host. Hang on, why are you not hearing me? And
I hear you.
what? I know you hear me, but I
No,
don't.
the stream. I
think-
hear you on stream. Yeah,
You do?
I hear you on stream.
This doesn't. Okay, well, whatever. Welcome to the Clear as Mud podcast. As usual, technical difficulties. I don't know.
Holy
what
shit,
the
it's
hell's going
Tear,
on.
dude. I haven't
So,
seen Tear in a hot
It's
minute. What's
Tear.
up, buddy? How you doing?
Well, yeah. He used to call in and talk to
I
us.
know.
Banana, but he don't love us no more.
I don't know. He got shy or something. He
don't-
don't want to speak to me. It breaks my heart.
It doesn't. Well, after the show, I'll talk to him and see what you've done to upset him. Maybe I can find some way to mend the
There you
bridges.
go. I'll go up
between you
to
guys or
the Great White North and give him a back rub.
Yeah.
Tell him to be all right.
Well, he is Canadian and how they are kind of hateful and
It ain't
stuff.
you.
So it ain't you,
Oh.
Banana.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's the Seinfeld. You know what it is? The Seinfeld. It's not you. It's me.
Trouble in
right?
Paradise over there with the two lovers.
Yeah, me and my heterosexual life mate are having
I
problems.
see y'all two playing a bunch of Empyrean Galactic Survival, and I bought that game when it was first released in alpha. Is it a full release yet, or is it
Yeah.
still alpha?
Yes. No, that's
Is it
full
good
release
now? Because it sucked when I first got it.
It's one of those games that's very, very
Oh, yes, it
intricate
is.
and very challenging. And but hey, we've got a server, Banana. I'll get you the information. You can come over and join us up.
Let's
anytime you
fucking go.
want.
Let's look at the chat here. We've got JFA, Tear. We got Mr. Gamer. Welcome to the show. Banana Grobber's volume is low. No, it's just you, JFA. You have no idea how to work your computer. But thanks for being here. It's a full release that still feels like an out.
100%.
Okay, so yeah. But it's a cool game. I like the concept. I just thought, like, holy shit, this is a long way to go to getting polished and nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I loved how technical it was. The learning curve was insane. So, yeah.
So anyway,
What time of year is it? Oh, it's Halloween. Tomorrow is Halloween. Do you have any big plans for Halloween? Passing out candy, going to any parties, getting a little freaky with your costume, huh?
Yeah. Well, no. And the thing of it is too is kids are growing out of the house, all that stuff. We don't mess with it anymore. And I live in such a rural part of the state that I don't get.
Oh shit! Apparently, you're getting raided by Tipster.
Oh,
Hey, what
Tipster
up?
Raid. Thank you, Tipster.
Hell yeah! Thank you,
Thank you,
dude.
Tipster. Appreciate it, man. That's awesome.
Our first
Thanks, man.
raid.
Our first raid. Yes.
Every
Hell
time I
to the
see
yes.
raid in chat, I think
love
of
me-
Dead on Dave's raid.
Yeah.
That fucking song. Yeah,
Yeah. I love me some tip. I love all the tip
absolutely.
I can get, baby.
Not just the
So,
tip, maybe the full thing later.
Not just I want the full thing. That's right. And by the way, since we're talking
Mhm.
about tip, we really need you to come on Dead on Dave's show because we've got this new segment that we do called Tip or No Tip. And we go out and we get tweets that are put out by Tipster or they're put out by the fake tipsters. And
Cecil?
people who are on the
What?
people who are on the show have to guess, is it the real tipster that tweeted this out or was it a fake tipster? And this was the brainchild of Dead on Dave. And it has become a huge hit. So we got a dono there from Tipster. He said tipped $1, says Tipster Raid handsome. Yeah. Appreciate that. I'm sure that's probably
The
from JFA,
tip the
but,
dollar.
Yeah, the tipped $1.
90% of big
Um,
name donations are usually JFA. You can just write them off. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah. But so anyway, let's but anyway, thank you. Big thumbs up to all the new and returning people we have coming in there from Tipster Raid. Appreciate that. We appreciate the raid from Tipster as always. Huge fan of Tipster. Big supporter of Tipster. Always
Here.
have been. So anyway, but no, trick or treater, Halloween night. So Dead on Dave is doing a members only stream. So if you are subbed, or I'm sorry, if you're a member on his Twitch or a member on his YouTube channel, make sure you check out in his Discord and follow the instructions in there, and make sure we got the right roles assigned to you so that you can be a part of that members only event. That's what we're doing for Halloween. And rumor has it that all the participants are going to be in costume.
Hey, there you go. I went to a Halloween party last night, and I did not wear a costume. And I just told everyone, I don't need a costume because I'm unironically a serial killer. They just haven't found the bodies yet. Didn't go over well. People didn't think that was funny, apparently.
It was
off-putting. Yeah, I liked it, though. So, yeah, I like leading into the discomfort.
Oh, well, fair enough.
But fair enough. A bunch of people sing drunken karaoke, and it was awesome. I videotaped it, so we got evidence for later to blackmail my friends. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But what do we got today?
Okay, so let's get into the show. So I think the first thing we're going to touch base with or touch on right quick is the Keemstar show. Now, the Keemstar show, of course, stars Keemstar, of course, from Drama Alert, and it also has Salvo Pancakes. Now, some of you may or may not be aware of this. If you're not, there is a young man on there that does the producing for the show, and his name is Chris the Narc. Now, Chris has been on this channel a couple of times. Yep, he's a friend of mine, and I've been on some of his streams and stuff like that. Good guy. I think he's a great guy. I think he has a lot of talent, and I think he's going someplace. Right now, that being said, people make mistakes. People drop the ball from time to time occasionally, right?
Yeah.
Well, that just me as well, right? Like like the other night, Friday night was supposed to be doing a producing for Dave on his Friday night show, right? And like at the last minute, I had forgotten to get the tip or no tip game finalized up and stuff. And so I'm rushing last minute to get everything put together, and I let time get away from me. Right. And so I'm sitting here getting everything, the slideshow put together and everything. And my phone starts ringing, and lo and behold, guess who it was?
Dave.
Dead on Dave. He said, he's like, Riv, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah. He says, you're not dead. You're not, you're old. Are you sure? Do we need to hold a mirror underneath your nose? I'm like, no. And I looked at the time. I was like, oh, shit. I forgot. And I said, I'll be right there. You go, no, let's talk a little bit. And I said, no. So I got into Discord, and I took my lumps, and I explained why I was late. And so anyway, Bowblax had sympathy for me, and Nick DiOrio had sympathy for me. I don't think Dave did. But anyway, so what happened?
Right.
So what happened with Chris was Keemstar show had this planned outing where they were going to go do this, haunted house excursion, whatever, right? And so Chris had this really fancy, like 4K camera and everything, and he was going to be using this camera to record this thing, and then they were going to edit it down and everything, right? Well, I guess there was some confusion back and forth. They were going to use an iPhone to do everything on because it was less bulky. And then I guess at the last minute, they decided to use this other camera. Okay, fine, whatever. Well, Chris mistakenly did not get the SD card formatted. In the camera, right? So they ran out of space like 10 minutes into the thing. And so they switched over to their iPhone or whatever. And so there was a little bit of aggravation or frustration, but they still were able to do the event. I watched the video. They just released it a little bit ago. It looked like everybody had a fun event, whatever. Well, they came back to Keemstar's house, and I believe there had been a few adult beverages that had been consumed, and Keemstar gets upset, and he decides, for whatever reason, to go live. And they went live, and evidently this was a members only stream, right?
You mean,
so the only way you
Keemstar did something super impulsive without really thinking about it? No, come on.
I know, it's
so
shock,
shocking.
right? So shocking. So anyway, the only way that from my understanding, is the only way you can see this video is the full VOD or whatever is you have to be a member or a subscriber of that show, right? Or channel, which I'm not. And I'm subbed, but
Like
I'm not a member,
membership,
right?
Yeah,
so yeah, I'm not paid subscriber or whatever. I'm not doing that.
Right.
Will I somewhere down the road? Possibly. I don't know, but right now I'm not so as inclined, right? So anyway, they go live. Keemstar is, because I've seen some excerpts of it and stuff, and Keemstar admits that he is intoxicated, and he starts just hammering Chris, just verbally, right? He really goes after Chris pretty hard. And he just kind of, and Chris is, you can see real quick, Chris is kind of over the whole thing, right? He admits that he screwed up. He admits that he dropped the ball, as it were, and stuff, right? And so anyway, the Twitter account, Most Shekels, puts out this little video here. And he sped it up. I don't know if he did it or one of his news team or whoever, but somebody sped this up for him. And so anyway, this is just a small segment of what Chris was subjected to that evening during the stream.
It's all chat videos.
So the SD card was full of a bunch of videos that he had shot on about.
That's kind of hilarious, right? To be honest. You're trying to fucking do this high, but like this nice production, and then you find out like you know 5 hours of cat videos, and you only have 10 minutes of actual footage.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Yeah. But now they
couldn't hear the audience can hear the video apparently.
The audience couldn't hear the video. Hang on a second here.
Troubleshooting. Thank you for the purple paw prints. Thanks for telling us. We appreciate that.
Oh, okay. There. Hey, let me do this again because I don't want to rob you guys of it. I think I got it solved here now. Got this here. Break this.
His SD card is all fucking cat videos. So I'm pissed. Yeah. So this is actually not a joke.
So I think you guys should have heard it.
We got it. Thank you for the subscription, Ellis Assassin. Appreciate you.
100%. Yes. So anyway, so that's just a small little segment.
Right. Well, that's Keem being Keem going nuclear, at the slightest sign of trouble. I mean, this like people familiar with Baited are familiar with how Keem operates, which is, yell first, ask questions later.
Yeah. And, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Chris. And I think, because I'll be quite honest with you. I don't believe I have the patience to work for somebody like Keem. Even though, let me give Keem his props here, right? I think Keem is very knowledgeable about YouTube and about the whole social media platforms and all that. And I think it would probably be a invaluable, or not invaluable, but an immeasurable asset as far as knowledge to get and to learn and become a sponge, if you will, to soak up. But that knowledge, I just don't know if I could at this stage of the game with my age. I just don't think I could. I just don't think I could.
My problem would be because Keem is so funny that he'd be legitimately mad, and I would just be giggling, and I'd get fired immediately. Because I couldn't because like even I'm already bad enough whenever things are like whenever something serious happens and nobody's supposed to laugh, I'm like giggling. It's like kind of a weird pathological thing.
Yeah,
I have to like bite my tongue now. But I would just be laughing.
Yeah,
immediately be terminated, contractor out.
Yeah. Well, Keem tweeted out the next day that Chris had turned in his resignation.
That sucks.
Keem says he tore it up, told him to get back to work.
See, that's but I like that about Keem though. Like he understands that, like, well, one, he's an asshole, but two, like he understands, like, how to be successful, and he actually like wants to invest in his employees, I guess, other than abuse them, but you know what I mean? It's like, I see where he's coming from, is I guess what I'm saying. Like,
Well, I think, and I think Chris would admit that, you know, that right now he may be like right here. Keem wants him up
Yeah.
here, right? And so I know that Chris, because of his mindset, of his, you know, his husband, I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that Chris will
Oh,
get there. He will
yeah.
get to that level.
He's plenty
And,
talented. The
yeah.
thing is, but from
Oh,
Keem's point of view
100%.
is he's like, no, you're not giving up. You're going to try harder, and you're not going to quit. So that's
Oh,
which is like, I
100%.
respect that. You
Yeah.
know, he's trying to tell him to like hustle,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
regardless of like how fucking stressful it is. It's kind of weird to get it from the guy who's
Yeah.
yelling at you, but you know, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the next thing here. So you did not watch the boxing matches last night,
I was
right?
partying, partying hard.
You was partying. Okay. All right. So anyway, after the stream last night, Dave and a bunch of us decided we were going to watch the box matches. So I stayed up way too late, drank way too much Southern Comfort. But anyway, watched the boxing matches. There was a little bit of, we're going to get into that, but before the boxing match, there was a little bit of a I guess altercation that occurred before the main event between Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. Supposedly there was somebody, I guess Nate Diaz slapped a member of Jake Paul's team in an altercation before.
You know who Nate Diaz is, right?
Well, I'm gonna show my ignorance here and say no, because I'm not.
He's one of the
I'm not.
He's one of the biggest MMA fighters right now. He's pretty damn good.
Is he?
Yeah, but he has a reputation for being kind of a not. He doesn't. You know. What am I trying to say? He doesn't like fit with the rules. He doesn't fit with the rules really well.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of like a bad boy. You know?
So
like he just fucking. He doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
All right. Well, then him and Jake Paul, or him and Jake Paul should get along.
It's all marketing, right? Yeah.
Because Jake Paul's whole thing is he's like the
got
trouble
your hat,
kid, right? Isn't that what his got your hat, right? He's the trouble kid, right? So anyway, there was I guess an altercation, whatever, that occurred backstage. So let's take a look at that.
Shit over here. Y'all niggas is quiet for 48 hours. Shut that shit up.
Whoa, I heard an N-word drop.
So,
did you hear that?
Yeah, well, you know, you want to have that on them big jobs. So anyway, that I guess was, and that's going to come into play because Jake actually addresses it after the match. So here's what I'll say. I don't like Jake Paul. I think he's an arrogant ass.
Yeah, he's a heel.
That being said, he looked really good last night in this match.
He's a good fighter, apparently. Like
he's this. What I'll say is the previous matches and boxing matches stuff that he had were not. I wasn't really impressed because the people that he boxed were, I don't know, they just didn't. I'm not going to say they weren't. They have a lot more athletic than I am, and so, you know, but it just seemed like they were not really. What's what I'm looking for? I don't know.
They just weren't stats. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, maybe kind of.
A lot of no-name fighters to kind of like add to his.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, isn't it kind of like the gig though with like MMA fighters? Like they put them like to build a guy like that. They build up their stats with like really shitty fighters, and then they put them in with somebody. You know. Sure.
But I'll say this much. Anyway, this matchup last night, I was very, very impressed. Now, that being said, you know, Jake Paul is like in his early mid-20s. And Silva is like, I think almost 50, right? So there's quite a bit of an age gap, right?
Yeah.
But in the first round, it was, Jake Paul took it because he landed, a couple of three pretty good body shots, and Silva was kind of more or less just measuring up, trying to get his distance and stuff on him. The second round, Silva came out, and now this is quoting some of the guys that I guess had watched Silva in his heyday and stuff. I never watched. I'm not a sporting guy, right? But they said that it looked like he had missed a step. I mean, Silva was very athletic. He was challenging. He was slipping punches right. Jake couldn't land anything on him, and Silva just really took that round overwhelmingly. But as time went on, I think the age definitely came to play, because about around the fifth, sixth round, you could tell that Silva was getting gassed.
His endurance,
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, Silva's no joke. He's always been like one of the greatest, like in terms of fucking fight. Like, because I remember Silva from back in the day when he had the leg break in the middle of the ring. Do you remember that? His leg snap. Yeah.
No, but they were talking about that, but no, I don't.
It was fucking brutal. It was live too. It was just like wrapped around the other dude's leg with a. It was nuts. But yeah.
But anyway, this is this little clip I'm going to show here. This was of the 8th round, and the beginning of the round Silva came out hot. I mean, he very, very aggressive. Was really attacking Jake, and it really looked like Silva was going to potentially at one point looked like he might actually knock Jake out. He was controlling. I'll say this much: Silva controlled the entire matchup. He controlled the ring. He kept Jake up against the ropes and in corners for probably over 80% of the match. The entire all 8 rounds, he kept Jake pinned up against ropes. He kept him in the corner. He controlled.
So everything. Better strategy. He was smarter in the ring.
Yes. But anyway, this happened. They were 3-minute rounds. And so this was shortly after the start of the 8th round. Like I say, Silva came in hot, but then this
much more aggressive Silva. And this is what you Silva knocked down by Paul. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How you doing? Drama.
So Jake Paul, I didn't even show that I'm sorry guys, let me bring that up. I didn't even show that on the screen. I forgot to switch it over. Can't hear, can't see. Okay, so
much more aggressive Silva. And this is what you Silva knocked down by Paul.
So anyway, gets a standing, 10 count, comes back out, whatever. But Jake caught him with that right hand of his. That right hand of his is so devastating. He had a little shot like that in his previous match, where he knocked the guy out. Just a little short jab like that with that right hand.
Tons of power in it. It's insane.
Oh, tons of power. So anyway, Jake wins it by decision, and it was a unanimous decision, wasn't split. And everybody that I was watching the match with that are a whole lot more knowledgeable than me, all agreed with it, said that he did that. Jake Paul 100% won. All the
Joey Westside says in the chat it was a super entertaining fight. Say what you want about Jake, but he will always draw a massive crowd and put a good show on. And I agree.
Yeah, he is. I agree with that. He is a, and I would say he got my respect in this match, because this guy, Silva, he put him through his paces. It was not just a walk in the park like some of his, I would say most, if not all of his previous matches. But anyway, after the match, this is what Jake has to say.
Just the start, baby. I want Nate Diaz, who's a bitch. He tried to come into my locker room. He tried to cause some shit. And then he always leaves the fucking arena. So Nate Diaz, stop being a bitch and fight me. And Canelo, you too, Canelo. You guys said, oh, you can't beat someone, you can't beat a striker, you can't beat a legend like Anderson Silva. I just did it. So why can't I beat Canelo? Fuck y'all.
So if it was up
Just the start.
Ah, man, that's fucking cool. So yeah, now he's gonna really piss people off, and hopefully he gets those matches.
Well, yeah, and so
Oh, for fuck's
anyway,
sake.
later on
His
during
thing,
the
yeah, he's always doing this thing, going after Dana White, so
Yeah.
you're not paying the wrestlers appropriately, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
he's really become a fucking thorn in his side, like, because he won't go away.
Yes.
Like he can't get Jake Paul to go away.
No.
He's there to stay. He's there to
No. he's going to force Dana White at some point in time. He's going to have to. There's going to have to be some sort of a, I guess, business arrangement or something. There's going to have to be some matches or something occur,
Yeah.
right? I think that's kind of where we're working towards, right? But anyway, during the press conference after the match, where they're sitting down and whatever, Jake Paul had this to say to.
Do you have a
to
message
Dana
for
White.
Dana White? Because he was very critical of you taking this particular fight with Anderson Silva.
Dana? Dana? Bro, you said I wouldn't do this, and I did it, and with flying colors. But, he's in hiding. He's trying to do everything he can to stop my run, to sabotage my fights. He hates me. He hates me. He
Yeah.
hates what I'm doing. He hates I'm exposing his business. And now
You're costing him money. That's why.
we're going to band together and create a United Fighters Association to help UFC fighters, all MMA fighters, and boxers to get more fighter pay, long-term health care. And that's a big undertaking that I've been wanting to do for the whole entire time of my career since I met Nikisa. I said it to him on the first day. I want to make a fighters union. So, man, Dana White can suck this dick.
That's sick, dude. The
So-
fucking balls on him, man. Yeah, he's going right after Dana's wallet. I'm sure Dana loves him. No, like you know what? It's really interesting to me. Dana and Joe Rogan are very good friends. I'm wondering. I have to go look. But God, there's so many Joe Rogan podcasts. But I want to see like if Joe has said anything about Jake, and his specifically him calling out Dana White. That would be really interesting to find out. I'll have to look for next time, maybe.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I think, I don't know if there's any way he can, quote, ramp it up, after that or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll see. If you guys in the chat are fans of The Witcher, be it the video games, the books, the Netflix series, anything like that, if you're fans of that, this next segment is probably going to be upsetting to you.
I'm very upset.
So, yeah. So anyway, I guess it's been a couple of years ago now. The Netflix came out with the Witcher series, and it starred I can never remember
Henry
that
Cavill.
word. Henry Cavill.
Excellent fucking show, by the way. Like so good.
Great
Yeah.
show. I
It's
really
so
liked
much
it.
fun.
I thought Mr. Cavill did an excellent job.
He's a fan.
with his. Yes, he's a huge. Well, Henry Cavill is he's just a big. He's just a big.
Yeah,
nerd.
he plays
He's
WoW.
a big
He plays
geek,
World of
right?
Warcraft.
Yeah. He actually did there's a YouTube channel here where he actually filmed himself putting together his own PC.
Yeah.
Building and putting together, and that's hilarious. If you haven't ever watched it, go watch it. It's pretty funny. To see this big dude, right? I mean, he's a big guy. He's tall. He's strong. I mean, he's got muscles on top of muscles, and he's sitting there trying to put this PC together. And as if you've ever done that, some of those components can kind of be a little bit dainty. and so it can
It's
be
very
a little bit of a
annoying.
deal there. But anyway,
Yeah, I spend like
Yeah.
fucking 5 hours standing over my PC trying to take this tiny little thing out, or bending a pin back with tweezers because I bent it because my big ogre hands pushed it down too hard at the wrong angle. And
Too
so I'm like
hard, yeah.
sweating and nervously, like hands are shaking. I'm like, please, for the love of fucking God, just go in. And I'm like, before I give up after hour 6 and take it to a repair mechanic or something, technician. Yeah.
So anyway, so Netflix released this. This is from their website. They released this, I guess, press briefing, whatever. Says that Liam Hemsworth is picking up Geralt's sword for The Witcher on season 4.
I fucking
Now,
hate this. Like,
some of you might be saying, "Well, we haven't gotten Witcher season 3 yet." Don't despair. Season 3 is in the can. They've got it. Everything's ready to go. It just hasn't been released yet. And I don't know when it's going to be released. I didn't look into that. It doesn't matter at this point, right? But in season 4, in this article here, this news article says in season 4 that that Liam Hemsworth will step up as a toddler monster hunter, Geralt of Rivia. The role here, Henry Cavill originated in the first 3 seasons. The 2 actors shared the exciting news on social media Saturday afternoon, with Mr. Cavill tweeting out, "My journey as Geralt of Rivia has been filled with both monsters and adventures, and alas, I will be laying down my medallion and my sword for season 4. And so he said, instead, the fantastic Mr. Liam Hemsworth will be taking up the mantle of the White Wolf. As the greatest of literary characters, I pass the torch with reverence for the time spent embodying Geralt and the enthusiasm to see Liam's take on most of this most fascinating and nuanced of men. Liam, good sir, this character has such a wonderful depth to him. Enjoy diving in and seeing what you can find." Now, much to the chagrin of fans such as yourself, even myself, this was not news that we wanted to hear. This was, we were like, they're like, why? Well, okay. So it was also just recently announced that Mr. Cavill would be returning to his role as Superman in the DC universe.
mm-hmm.
So they are getting ready to make another Superman movie. Now, he also, during the filming of season 3 of The Witcher, was allowed a brief holiday from that filming schedule to actually reprise his role as Superman because, and if you guys have not, which I have not seen Black Adam yet, but this was in one of the articles that I read, so I guess it got spoiled for me or whatever on this, so I'm going to spoil it for you. I guess he makes a appearance in the Black Adam and his Superman role. So, to what I don't know. But I did come across this tweet, and it said Henry Cavill's one condition wasn't met. Now I don't know who. Okay, so Michael, this is a Legacy Killer HD. He says he talks video games for a living. He has over, I guess, 600,000 YouTube subs. He's got 41,000 Twitter followers. So I guess he has some following out there, a lot more than me anyway. But anyway, he says that Henry Cavill's one condition wasn't met. And what he was talking about was there's an article here from that he links here, or he screenshots, whatever, from a website called Movie Web. It says back in 2019, The Witcher showrunner Lauren Schmidt Heistrich, I guess how you say that, made a statement saying that she already had 7 seasons planned for the Netflix series laid out in her head. This was said even before the first season of the series was released, which then turned out to be a pretty hopeful movie after The Witch became a bit hopeful move after The Witcher became a big hit on Netflix. Recently, speaking with The Hollywood Reporter, the series star Henry Cavill had officially revealed that he would
He would absolutely fourth line.
Absolutely would be up for reprising his role of The Witcher for a 7th season. His one and only condition was that they must continue to tell great stories while honoring author I can't even say
Andrei
that.
Sapkowski.
Work as long as we keep telling great stories which honor the author's work. Okay. So then we go on here. Says the Netflix The Witcher former producer claims some writers actively dislike the books and games. You have to respect the work before you're allowed to add to its legacy. And it says here that Boi DMax, a former producer and writer for The Witcher, has claimed that some writers on the Netflix series actively disliked the writer's books and CD Projekt Red's games. As reported by The Direct, DMax recently participated in a Q&A on his Instagram stories where he discussed his role as showrunner on the upcoming X-Men 97 Disney Plus series. Speaking of how he assembled the production team for the project, he revealed that those involved had to be a fan of the material because that hasn't always been his experience.
Well, here's the thing though, like
So,
if you're doing an adaptation of a book or a game, who gives a shit if you fucking like the material? The point of your job is to translate that material into a TV show, and keep it as true to the fucking original source content as you can. But no, these people like want to fucking add a little, like editorial twist to it, or they want to fucking make it their own.
Well, a lot of times too, though, I think this is where a lot of times these books, the source material was written at a time where society looked and viewed things a little bit differently than what we do today.
Well, here's the thing, like fucking, I've read the books. I've read the Witcher books. They're actually like kind of like for its time a little SJW-y. Like there's some messages in there that are like pretty fucking liberal. So if we're like gonna go with the woke angle, I mean, I'll be fucking not shocked at all if there's like a really big woke bent to it, or some like like some fucking creative differences with the original material.
Okay, but to your point though, Banana, woke back then, or more
was it woke enough?
But what I'm saying, if you measure that level to where we're at today, it's still very conservative, right? It's very now. This is all speculation on our part. So we don't know. We won't know until that.
It may just be a completely different story. Like that's the thing. Like all fucking politics or like gerrymandering of narratives to fit some kind of angle aside. Like it may just say fuck the story. We're gonna take our own direction, which they kind of like. Oh, they took some creative liberties with the show that are different from the book, but it's it was still pretty good. So it must have been severe enough, obviously, for Henry to be like fuck this,
Well, okay, again, that's speculation by that person.
Well, if we're looking at
right?
if we're looking at like season 1 and 2 as a like, they're pretty fucking different from the book. Like there's some like
okay, so I don't know because I never read the books. So
I mean,
I know that
different. So that's why I'm saying it's not unreasonable to suggest that what they're planning for is like fucking completely, either like a complete change. Or it pissed off Henry, enough to be like, "Fuck this," and he was just respectful in the note. But that's me speculating. It's
But it also, like I said, it could be the fact that he is, in fact, starting back up his character.
I doubt that
for Superman,
because it's very like that story is like one of his favorites. I mean, like he's been on about it quite a time. Like it's one of his favorite, series. So I doubt it.
Okay, fair enough. Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, so let's get into the main thing for today's show, right? So we're going to talk about Deji.
Knowledge of any of this.
And he has no knowledge of any of this that we're fixing.
But he has 189 IQ. Shouldn't he have knowledge?
But he has 189 IQ. All right, so a couple of days ago, Nicholas DiOrio drops a tweet. Okay.
Right.
Now, this tweet was spurred on by a segment that occurred on the Keemstar show. Keemstar in that show dropped a major bomb about the whole botting allegation that was levied towards Deji back, was a couple, 3 years ago, right? I think it was around 2019 or so when this occurred. All right. So here in a nutshell is what occurred or what happened. Kavos made a video, and in this video, he hypothesized that Deji had botted some subs to get his channel over 10 million subs. Okay.
Okay.
Now, in that video, he had, and that video actually was triggered because the owner of the website that did, that you could go and buy subs, bots or whatever for YouTube from, right, made a video saying that Deji had done this and then had canceled their PayPal payment to him. And in the video, he released email addresses, he released transactions, the whole kit and caboodle.
Shit.
I mean, he put it all out there. All right, so then Kavos took that, they took your information, and they researched and whatever and what forth. And anyway, he made a video about this. Keemstar talked about this as well on Drama Alert. Now, all this occurred, and Deji then filed a lawsuit in the UK against Kavos for defamation and or slander. I'm not for sure which of the, but that was what the, you know. And so Kavos was out. We know because of the number that Kavos put out there, it cost him, it says $10,000. So I don't know if that's 10,000 like US currency or 10,000 pounds, right? English currency. But the number 10,000 is that number. Now, so what happened here just recently, and I don't know exactly when this occurred, but Kavos gets into a group messaging, and I don't know if this was on Twitter or some other type of app, but anyway, it was a group conversation, and it was Deji's former girlfriend and Keemstar and him. Okay. And so Nicholas DiOrio here, he puts out these tweets, releases the tweets. And so let's go through this. So it starts off with Danja, which is the former girlfriend of Deji, says, honestly, to tell the truth, Deji knew nothing about it. That was never lied. Deji had nothing to do with it because it was done by his parents behind his back. So she's saying that there was botting, but it was done by the parents, and Deji knew nothing about it. So this is Kavos. Okay, Kavos says, fuck off, LMAO. That's such bullshit. And so Keemstar comes back with a reply as well, says, his parents did it? She goes, I'm telling you the truth here, Kavos. And then Kavos says, they can barely work Twitter, let alone a botting website. So she goes, okay, let me explain. So I'm not sure what all this is here because we weren't given that, but she says, but anyway. And then Keema says, understandable. His dad did it because Deji was going through a hard time and he wanted his son to cheer up. Okay. Cavo says his parents are the one who hired the lawyers too, right? And she says, and Deji wanted to protect his dad, so he tried to hush you. And so Cavo says, wow, what the fuck? Okay. So then she comes back and she further says, that was Deji and his parents' choice, the lawyer thing. So, So when this whole thing, when this whole thing became big, Cavo says, that's fucked up. She then goes on to say, and you covered it together with Keemstar. That's when his dad told everyone he bought the subs.
Wow.
Okay.
And this is 2 years ago,
and
right?
When this all occurred was the whole thing was, I think, like 2019, I believe.
Yeah, it was 2019 or 2020. I remember this thing.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, Cavo says, Deji and his parents owe me a fucking apology and $10K. This is more fucked up than I could have imagined. She goes on, then she replies, she goes, yeah, I mean, they knew you didn't have the money to fight.
But wait a minute.
Keemstar says,
hold on.
Go ahead.
Tommy, this is stuff that Tommy was saying back 2 years ago, that his parents were the ones that sub-bought it. Like,
yes. Well, no. Okay. So the thing of it is the email address that was used.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a second. The email address that was used was an email address that was assigned to one of the rental properties that Deji owned.
Okay.
It was called Property 22, I believe it was.
Right.
Was the name of the email address. Okay. Now, when they did the research and when they dug into it, they found that email was tied back to Deji's father.
Okay.
So, according to the story that Nick told the other evening, was they knew that somebody in Deji's inner circle had done this, right? It was either Deji or their father was the two that they guessed, but they knew that botting had occurred, and they I think they kind of felt like it was probably more Deji than it was the parents, because like it was, like Cavo said, they thought that the parents did not have the know-how or the understanding of how to go about doing something like that. So that's why I think they were more inclined to, right? So Keemstar says, I believe her. She says, they knew they were going to win. Yeah, of course, they are KSI's family. Now, anyway, so Nick puts out a little Twitter video here that is like 2 minutes, 42 seconds long. In this video, it goes into the whole, let me stop this here. It goes into the whole, what do you call it? The email address and whatever. It's a 2 minute. 40,
yeah.
Yes, but it's a segment of his video that he released on his channel about the situation. And this was one that he worked in conjunction with John Swan on. And I believe John Swan also did a video as well. Now, Nick has taken the video in question that was taken down by Deji that Cavos had put up, right? That part of this lawsuit, part of the agreement was that Cavos had to take the video down, right? I don't know what else was involved, but I know that Cavos had to take this video down. That video has been put back up on one of Nick's channels. I think it's his second channel that he put that video back up. So all the videos are now back up and they are fully viewable, right? So if anyone is so inclined to go and watch all of these to kind of get a refresher of everything that happened, you can do so. All the information is there. I think it probably will be pertinent to listen to this video, this 2 minute and 42 second Twitter segment here, or video that he put up of his that he shortened down or comprised from Nick's video, I think it would probably be a good idea. So let's listen to this video.
What does this email mean? And what could it have possibly been used for?
So for those who don't know, I'm a landlord, a property investor, okay? I own many properties, and I've been doing it for the past 2 years now. I'm a landlord. I love it. Like YouTube, I love YouTube, but this is just like an inside of my life. Because a lot of people just think I just do YouTube. I don't just do YouTube, I do many other things, all right? Oh, I like this.
This is where things get interesting. With just a little bit of digging into UK public company records, people were able to find the name of Deji's real estate business, Protected Shield Limited, where Deji and his parents are listed as company directors. In the list of filings, there was something that stood out though. One of the properties. A property acquired in November of 2019. And that property is Property 22. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Deji actually owns a Property 22, which would explain the email address used to purchase the subscribers.
The email used to purchase the botted subs, as shown in Freeway Social's video, was the email property22@btinternet.com. Well, people did some digging and found out that the recovery email for that account, that specific account that was probably created just to buy subs, was an email that was linked to Deji's mum, Yinka. It has some characters missing that we don't know for security reasons, but we can clearly identify it says Yinka and it says at comedyshortsgamer.com.
Things were lining up far too much, and Keemstar was even able to confirm that the email did indeed belong to Deji's mother.
Keemstar himself tweeted out confirming that the email is Deji and KSI's mum's actual email. Now, he confirmed it, and Keem wouldn't confirm anything or say it's confirmed unless he has spoke to someone who has confirmed it for him. And just use your common sense, who else would be able to confirm if it is Deji's mum's email? Who else? Who possibly else?
In the clip I just played, it's obvious to most that Kavos is implying someone close to Deji's mother confirmed that the email was legitimately her own. In my personal opinion, it sounds like something to ask KSI. But it actually goes deeper than that, and that's where we did our own research. You guys all remember Skype, right? Prehistoric boomer Discord? Well, one advantage of Skype is that you could search someone's email on there, and it would spit out a contact name. This made Skype a very good option to verify someone's identity. So we took a long shot. We typed in the email property22@btinternet.com, and out popped the profile of Olajide Olatunji, Deji's dad. Wait a minute, John, wasn't it Deji's dad's name on the PayPal transaction?
I'm done.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So he further went on to talk about, he says, extra assorted proof. Says Deji subs are bought at 100% proof. His channel was in jeopardy and Kavos was fucked in the courts for pursuing this story.
They just didn't have the stone cold evidence to be able to. It's just really hard to prove that kind of thing in a UK court, right?
Well, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
Too. So says, but you guys, and this is some more of the conversation, but between the former girlfriend Keemstar and Kavos, and the girlfriend says, but you guys already knew. And Kavos said, and instead of the dad admitting it and coming clean, he sues me. And she says he was embarrassed as fuck. Kavos says, knowing I don't have the money to fight it, she says he felt really bad. And it cost me $10,000, which at the time I really fucking needed. Okay. This here is some screenshots from the transaction that occurred between this email account, the property22@btinternet.com, which they were able to show definitively, that did belong to Deji's, I think, mother is what they said. This was where this occurred in 2020. So this PayPal thing was checked on March 23rd of 2020. Okay. So this was only about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And then you can see here payment received, and it says from Olajide. I can't say that. That's Deji's dad. Okay. And it was it was about $500 US dollars. That's what that is, for $479.98 is what that is.
How many?
And that's
how
what
many,
was.
this may not matter, but how many subs would $500 translate to?
It was 20,000 subs, I believe, if the number comes to.
I could drop 500 for 20K. Just ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Okay. And so anyway, and then he, Nicholas Diorio links to his video here, right?
Right.
So anyway, now, so here's what happened.
Okay.
And this was explained. So last night we talked about this on Dave's show, and Dave's guest was DrSharvago. Now, DrSharvago is a UK resident, and I think hopefully Joey's still there in the chat and he can confirm this, or if there's anyone else that's from the UK can confirm this as well. DrSharvago says in the UK courts, it's not like here in the US. When you're charged with something, right? Even if it's a civil thing, like what occurred here, right? This was a civil, you as a person who's being charged with this defamation or slander, in the UK courts, you go in under the presumption of being guilty. You have to prove your innocence. Okay? Now, this is something that I learned also about UK courts, and this was from the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. This came out in the UK, right? So it didn't matter if Kavos came in there with all these evidence, or if he had these videos from this person saying that that they had bought it, and this was the email address, and here's the PayPal receipts, all that. That would be inadmissible. They would not allow any of that into the court. The only way that any of that information would have allowed to be entered into as court record as a record of fact is Kavos would have had to have gotten all the parties there in the court to testify, which means he would have had to have gotten that executive or whoever that person was from that company to come fly to England and testify in a court of law that, yes, they bought these, they paid, these are the email addresses, and then he would have had to have gotten probably the ISP, someone from the ISP to come forward and stuff. So it would have been quite extensive, or not extensive, quite expensive. It was money Kavos did not have.
It's fucking nuts. Yeah.
Okay. So you cannot just come in with like tweets or emails or anything like that, because it's not considered reputable evidence, and they will not allow it in there. And that was very shocking to me. They have to have a person there to testify these things, right? So
evidence be damned. If the person's not there, you can get fucked.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing about UK courts.
TSA.
And so that's why when Kavos said he didn't have the money to fight it, that's what he meant.
Joey Westside says in chat, yeah, I'm pretty sure you are innocent until proven guilty. This isn't China.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that's what the deal was. Right. And so anyway, they start trying to do a hashtag of Deji pay Kavos.
Yeah, good luck getting him to pay.
Try to, so the thing of it is Kavos said that he believes he's owed an apology. He believes that he's owed the $10,000 that he was out in legal fees, right?
Yeah.
Now, Kavos did put out this tweet, and this is what he said, and I think this is kind of an important thing to make note of. He says, also, I want to clear up that I don't think KSI is to blame at all. He reached out to help, but I'm guessing that he learned the truth and stuck with his family. So. I can't blame him for that.
JFA, I swear to fucking God, if you are being a shit, I don't know.
He's being a shit.
You know what?
I'm
pay us some more money for those little derailing events. Give me more money.
so you're okay with you're okay with KSI backing up his family and supporting them to sue Kavos, even though he knew that what Kavos said was in.
Are you asking me, or is that
the
rhetorical?
truth. You think that's okay? and
Like
that's
if it
forgivable?
was, boy, I don't think it's
no, I'm
okay.
asking
But I
you.
think if it's your family, it's like, well, I don't really have a choice. So you have to double down on the family lie. I mean, unless he wants to. I mean, like it wouldn't be the first time that he's fucking told his brother off publicly, right? So I don't know. But if it's his parents as well that are complicit.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
but
so
this,
that's what I'm saying.
but
So
this,
if
yeah,
it's
but this was
father,
not his
maybe
brother,
like a
evidently.
fucking
This
really
was just
annoying
something that his
issue for
father
him, and he's
did,
just like,
right?
"Fuck, I don't want to have to deal with this. Just leave me alone." You know, he's trying to just avoid it as much as possible. And if that means he doesn't have to say anything publicly about it, or at least double down on what his parents are doing, I don't know. That's tricky because if you actually give a shit about your parents, that could be really a big issue for you.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
I'll say
Kavos is a lot more forgiving than I am. Because in my book, I don't care if a father or if a member of your family is doing something that is A, immoral, B, illegal, right? While you may still love that person, you may want to
If it was
support that
me,
person. You do not support.
yeah, caveat
them.
here. If it was
You do
me,
not
I'd be like,
stand
"Fuck you!
behind them.
I'm throwing you under the bus because I'm
No,
not joining
never,
into your
ever.
bullshit. I'm not going to co-opt your lie." Because one, you're assuming that like I'll just do that, and you're
Yes.
actively harming my
No.
business.
Yeah.
Like you've drugged me into a very problematic situation, and it's like there's so much on the line, and you're just being stupid. So, yeah. So X was saying it was frozen for like a second, but it's fine now. Okay, well, thank you, JFA. For I don't know, I'm wary of you. I'm triggered and I have PTSD because of JFA's multiple times. He's derailed an entire show before, people. You don't understand. JFA we have a clip of us spending like 20 minutes trying to figure out what was going on when nothing was going on because JFA, we believed him. So we don't actively believe him in every situation. Thank you for your viewership, JFA. Keep paying us. Appreciate you.
Okay. So anyway, I have my nose itching. Anyway, so I think that pretty much wraps it up. Here's what I'll say in my closing thoughts. I know that Kavos would love to be compensated the $10,000 he was out. I think that he would love to have an apology, but based upon Deji's history, I'll say that's never ever going to happen. Because if you look at, for example, if you look at what happened when his dog Tank was in that legal battle stuff, right? My nose is itching. They came out and said some pretty horrendous things. Was going after not only their neighbors which was the woman who was attacked by Deji's dog, but was
Didn't
going
they put
after
his dog down?
their family members and like relatives and shit. He was just being a little shit. Yeah, they wound up putting the dog. Yeah, the dog was wound up had to be put down.
Oh shit, we got Jeff Huffman posted NASCAR clips up there. Is that what's going on?
Anyway, so
the Huff, the chin, the crimson chin. I can't see. I don't get NASCAR. Yeah. Like, honest to God, if you're not there and like tailgating or whatever, like on the in the center field, like that big center strip where all those RVs are camped out and they're having like beer and fucking barbecue, like I really don't get it because it's just left turn, left turn, left turn. Like, what's the appeal? I don't know. Anyway,
so. Anyway, this next little segment that I want to kind of get into is last night, early evening, on towards the later part of the evening, there were several accounts that are in the commentary community.
Oh, this is the night of the long knives. Yeah.
Okay. Turkey Tom.
They came for Turkey Tom and no one said anything.
Yeah. So Turkey Tom was taken down. Prior to that, they went after Bowblax has now had 2 of his videos that have received community guideline strikes. The last one that received a community guideline strike, what was so messed up about this one was when he uploaded the video, because this was a video where he had a sponsorship in there, right? And where he was reading a ad for a sponsorship, whatever. He uploaded it, had it manually reviewed for monetization. It was manually reviewed. It was given a green $sign saying you're accepted. You're good to go. He released the video, and then like a very short period of time thereafter, it gets a community guidelines strike, and they said it was because of sexual. There's
that's interesting considering what we've seen on YouTube
policies,
before.
whatever. And it said, yeah, right. So anyway, one of the things that they said was additionally, well, hang on here. Let me just do this here. This would be the easiest way, because then I'm not talking out of turn, and I'm not, pull up this tweet here. Well, no, sometimes
while you're saying that, JFA says in the chat, of all people, I would have thought Banana Grabber would enjoy NASCAR. Enjoy. I can understand why people would enjoy it. I used to have a, what's his name? Who did the rainbow? Jeff Gordon. I had a Jeff Gordon bicycle. It was stolen by somebody because I lived in an apartment complex in a dodgy part of town. And I just took the training wheels off of it too, and it really pissed me off. But that's about as far as my NASCAR love goes. Is I just liked the rainbow car when I was a kid because it was a rainbow car.
Okay. Okay, so this is an email that Bowblax received, and it said that the video got a community guideline strike for nudity and sexual policies. It says, please keep in mind that explicit content meant to be sexually gratifying is not allowed on YouTube. Posting pornography may result in content removal or channel termination. Videos containing fetish content will be removed or age restricted. In most cases, violent, graphic, or humiliating fetishes are not allowed on YouTube. Here's the thing that was really interesting about this. Additionally, your video has been removed as it contains content of audio or text that includes descriptions of graphic, sex, or sexual noises. Okay. All right. Now, here was what was problematic and I pointed this out on my stream the other day, right? So, and I'll just do this live here for all of us, right? So let me bring this, how do I do this like this? So this is YouTube. Everybody can see we're here on YouTube, right? So, all right. So I'm going to type in Amber Heard testimony about Australian assault. Now, I'm not going to play any of these because it could be problematic for people that have been subjected to this. But I will say this. In part of Amber Heard's testimony, okay, she testifies that while they were in Australia, that she alleged that Johnny Depp sexually assaulted her with a broken wine bottle. She was very graphic in her description of this ordeal and went quite in depth about it, as you would expect in testimony in this, because of the trial and everything like that, right? No, I'm not what, okay? So if we look at here, there's all these about all this stuff, right? Now, here's my question. Okay, and I think this is a valid question. If all these corporate like ABC News, Law and Crime Network. There's ABC News Australia, the Guardian News. Okay. And understand something. I'm not trying to get their channel in any way. Am I trying to get their channels struck or anything of that nature? Right. My question is if these channels are allowed to have that testimony up, right? Because it is from a trial or it was from a valid news cycle, right? Because, and I guess they're quote valid news sources, right? They're journalists. There you go. So Bowblax, who is a journalist,
it's like one of those little play stoves, you know?
He journals news yeah. But his video struck down.
I mean, there's better examples than this. Like, for instance, anything ASMR on YouTube, those freaks. If you go look at that, people are like, "Hi, how are you? This is my ASMR video." It's like, that's not sexual. That's not some kind of weird fucking fetish. Get the fuck out of here.
And I'll tell you something right now. Whatever you do not look up Brazilian bikini waxes, because you'll see up close everything that the good Lord gave these women in their genitalia. I mean, everything.
It's for knowledge.
And while quote unquote, I guess so, right? Or how about the video where the guy was doing a brand deal with one of the adult toy websites? I don't remember the name. I don't know if it's Adam and Eve or not, but one of those, right? And he had a selection, assorted selection of different materials and different sizes, whatever, of, adult toys. And his partner was inserting these different toys up his rectum. And then his partner actually inserted his penis up his rectum. And he had to
is it a dick or is it not a challenge? That's completely educational and not sexual in any way whatsoever.
Now, exactly. Okay, so and it was very graphic in talking about the sensations and the realism and this and that, whatever else. So that video is allowed to be up, but Bowblax cannot talk about a guy who satisfied
Don't you understand how dangerous Bowblax is? He is a menace to society. Like, he's obviously a threat. He's worth taking down, as opposed. Yeah.
Oh, 100%, 100% he is.
It's because they saw him eat the fucking mayo. They saw that stupid mayo video he did. That's why. They saw him scooping up mayo with his hands. And they said, that's enough. We're done.
Is that what it is?
It has nothing to do with like any kind of political climate or anything. They just hate Bowblax because he ate a jar of mayo on stream or whatever. So.
Well, I don't know so much if I don't necessarily.
It's just because he's autistic. They hate autistic people. YouTube. No, I'm joking. Don't cancel our podcast. We love you, Susan Wojcicki.
Yeah. I'm going to say this. I believe that Bowblax is a much needed part of this community. He catalogs tweets and twitlongers and things of that nature. And I know personally I have went to his channel multiple times when I'm researching a story, because let's be quite honest, there's no way that I could could get all the screenshots and this, that, whatever else, right? And Bowblax has it, right? And so, and I know I'm not the only person that has went to Bowblax and gotten screenshots and things like that, and has used. Yeah.
Well, you don't have autism, so you can't spend 24 hours searching
for informational purposes and things like that, right? Well, I don't. you know, I know Bowblax firmly believes
It is
that
truly
that autism is the next elevation for humankind.
Aspie's on
Maybe it
another
is.
level
Maybe he
of
is on the cutting edge, and the
understanding and
rest of
social
us
interaction that we just can't understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish he figured out personal
100%,
hygiene. That's it.
100%.
I
And maybe
love
that's,
Bowblax personally. I just want him to clean up a
maybe
bit
he,
because I think he'd be a handsome young man if he, you know, he took care of himself.
Yeah.
Just a little, you know,
little bit more,
just shave it up a
little
bit,
bit of-
you know,
a little
whatever
bit of grooming
whatever's
there, a
going
little
on
bit
with the
of self-grooming
patchiness on his
stuff.
face, to stop
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm not
It's all
going to say a whole
jokes.
lot about
We
his
love
patchy
Bowblax.
beard because
Yeah.
I don't have the thickest beard either. So, you know, yeah. I have a lot of respect for the young man, especially after he was called out to go
Can't
into
say
a park in the
yeah.
middle of the
You can't say
night
he doesn't have
to
stones.
fight Salvo Pancakes
Yeah.
and went out there and
I don't know how smart
Salvo
that was, but it
Salvo was nowhere to be
definitely
found.
he's not a
Yeah,
Salvo
Salvo was
pussy,
nowhere
so
to
we
be
can say
found.
that.
He was actually still, yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely not. And but anyway, I don't want to go too much longer. I know Shot from the Point is going to be going live here in about 15 minutes. I know they are going to be talking about some couple of different subjects. I know they're going to be talking about the boxing match last night. I think they're probably going to talk about the situation about Deji, and you know, so anyway, I don't
Lucid
really have
Enemy
anything
says in the
else
chat, is someone
further
listening to
to
the stream
discuss
at the same
today.
time?
What
Because y'all
about
talking
you,
over each
Banana?
other a lot. No, that's just how we operate. We just interrupt each other on a constant basis. We've never really figured out the whole like back and forth thing. So it's just it's a feature of the show. It's not a bug. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
When we first started doing this show about almost, well, you know what, we're approaching 2 years. Yeah, 2 full years and starting our 3rd year, right? We try to do that. We try to be mindful of each other and not try to talk over each other. And I think about
Yeah, we
halfway
just
through
talk.
the first year, I think we just
Yeah.
gave up on that shit and just
It's just how we
just
operate.
talk. And yeah. So anyway, yeah,
gift of
we're
fucking
Southern, buddy.
Gav.
I mean, we just we love to talk, and that's just what we do. So, gift of gab. There you go, 100%. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to paste because we don't have the ability to raid another channel. We're not that large yet. But what I'm going to do here is I've linked Tommy's.
Tell him.
What do you call it? There's a
Yeah,
link to
tell
the
him Clear's
stream
Mud sent you.
that's
There
going to
you
be
go.
going live here in about 10 minutes. Yeah, make sure and tell them that Clear's Mud sent you guys. And with that, I guess I'll wrap this up. We'll definitely see you guys next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. We may try to get in a midweek stream sometime if the stars align, but that's really going to depend on our jobs.
Peak season,
because
motherfucker. Yeah.
Sometimes they just kick us in our balls, and we can't do it. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, listen, until then,